Alright guys, welcome to the video. This is gonna be kind of a sad video, honestly. Yeah, if you guys don't know already, Indiana Beach and Fantasy Island in New York have both closed down. Indiana Beach obviously being in Indiana, Monticello, Indiana. Um, yeah, like I said, if you haven't heard, they're both closing. Um, Although I will say Indiana Beach looks like it has a little bit more hope to maybe get a buyer, which would be fantastic. So maybe I'll make a separate video for Indiana Beach, but this video is going to be about Fantasy Island. The fate of this park doesn't look as bright. Um, it doesn't seem like there's any interest in investors or purchasers of the park. So I just wanted to kind of make a little, make a little video. We visited this park back in June of 2018, and we really enjoyed it. I mean, it was nothing special, but it was cool. Um, it's definitely a park that has some history to it, and it was opened in July 1st of 1961, and of course, it just recently got announced that it would be closed. Almost 60 years of operation, which is quite awesome. It was founded by Lawrence Grant, and like I said, opened the park in '61. And they originally were going to call it Fantasyland, but they had to change it because Disneyland, had the Fantasyland area, so they didn't want to have copyright issues with that. But it's got some pretty decent history to it. I just wanted to share some clips here of the park, kind of just showing off what the park had to offer in the current state. But it's just kind of sad. Silver Comet at the park is one of the best coasters, that doesn't get talked about very much. It's not like one of the greatest of all time, but you just don't hear the Silver Comet get mentioned too awful much, and it's too good not to be mentioned. It should be it's quite underrated, I think. It might be just because too people might not have made their way up to Fantasy Island. If you didn't know where Fantasy Island is actually in Grand Island, New York, which is real close to Niagara Falls. So definitely within the touristy area. But it was just, I don't know, maybe people just couldn't make their way up there. Like I said, the park has an interesting history. It's been through a lot. A lot of ownership changes. The more interesting ownership change was when the International Broadcasting Corporation went bankrupt, and they were gonna change the park's name to Two Flags Over Niagara Fun Park, which would be a mouthful to say every time. But in January of 1994, Martin Shows, which is a company ran by Martin DiPietro, I think is how you say that. He and the company purchased the park and named it Martin's Fantasy Island, which it stayed for many years. But it's the funny thing about it is that when they had that ownership change in '94, Charles Wood, the guy that wanted to name it Two Flags Over Niagara Fun Park, actually took the Comet out of Fantasy Island and moved it to the Great Escape, which is now a Six Flags park. And the Comet's quite revered. People really like the Comet, and so I just thought that was interesting. And of course, DiPietro, he, I hope I'm not butchering his name, but he's the one that built the Silver Comet in 1999, and it was inspired by the original Comet that was built. Anyways, in 2016, though, that's when Martin actually sold it to the Apex Parks Group in May of 2016, and they reverted the name back just to Fantasy Island, and it's been like that since. Of course, this year we found out that Apex probably shouldn't have been managing the parks. I don't think that they managed them well enough, because, especially Indiana Beach. Indiana Beach definitely has its support. I think it was mismanaged if it's really suffering with that much, if it's having that much issues, financially. I don't think it was being managed properly, and I think that's a big issue. But I don't run a park. I can't say that for sure. But anyways, so yeah, and like I said, just kind of sad news. They had just, the year that we went, 2018, they had just made a new expansion to their kiddie area. It looked like it pretty cool. We didn't get to visit it ourselves because I'll probably show it right here. It was all fenced off. They were still kind of working on it. But just 2 years later, after our visit, it's seemingly gonna come to an end. Like I said, about 59 years, I believe. Maybe about 58, because I don't know if you can count 2020 or not. Um, it just looks like the park's finally gonna take its final rest. I don't know. I'm kind of upset. I don't like to see any parks close, especially ones like that are decent. There's plenty of parks out there that I don't want to see parks close at all. But this is definitely one that I don't really understand. I would like to see someone come in and buy it. I think it has potential still. It's not as in good of a location as other parks, but it still has potential, and there's plenty of tourists that come through that area. I just don't know how many people know about it. Like I said, the there's a lot to offer in that area. With the Niagara Falls and all the tourist area, all the tourist stuff going on. There's plenty of traffic. I just don't know. Um, like I said, with Apex, I'm not saying I run parks and I know what I'm doing, but it seems that Apex probably should stick with family fun centers, which is what they're most known for. They have a lot of boomers and stuff like that. Not the old people, but boomers is the name of their chain of family fun centers. Um, it's just one of those things that I feel like this whole situation could be managed better, because this kind of came out of nowhere. And don't get me wrong, like, I was paying attention to Indiana Beach. I did notice that they were doing some pretty desperate things. Like, you could buy a season pass for the price of a day admission, which is quite desperate, honestly. And but that it's also not so weird, because parks want to get people into the park. Like, they want people in the park to spend money. Usually, people getting the attendance and getting people into the park is actually more important than the actual ticket sales themselves. They actually make more money if people can come into the park and spend their money at the park, off like concessions and different things like that, merchandise. It's more profitable to do that. So just one of those things, and I just wanted to share some of my experience with it. Like I said, the park was really cool. I love the Ferris wheel. You could actually see Buffalo and Niagara Falls from the Ferris wheel, which was really cool. The city of Niagara, not the actual falls themselves. But you actually see the city of Buffalo, like I said, and that was really cool. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to be next for this park. I would love to see a buyer, and yeah, this park had a good long run. And like I said, I might make a video about Indiana Beach, but this is I definitely wanted to make one about this park because it deserves to be mentioned, and especially if this is going to be its last, hoorah. I would like to give it a little bit of a shout out and just talk about my experience with it, and it's just what I'm doing now. So, like I said, not a perfect park by any means, but it's not no weakling either. I mean, the park is 85 acres. It's a nice, good-sized park. They have the western area was absolutely superb. I love the show. The show was amazing. They had actual actors in there. We got to talk to a few of them after the show, and they were great. I mean, they did their show fantastic. And when we talked to them afterwards, we were telling them, how well of a job we thought they did and stuff. They were very appreciative, very nice people. I believe that one of the guys, one of the gunmen from the show, he was actually from Canada, so he was coming down to work there, just trying to get actor work, and it's just kind of sad to think about, that kind of stuff's taken away, and then there's like the memories, like I said, I don't have much experience with this park. It's not my home park or anything, so I'm sure that more people that this is their home park, I'm sure they could speak better on it, but little things like at the end of the show, they would have all the kids round up and become honorary sheriffs, which they would give them little sheriff's badges and stuff like that, which is just stuff like that. It means a lot. It means a lot to kids, and it's just cool to see. It makes you feel good, and just one of those things. I would love to see more of that in parks. Be a little bit more personal. Sometimes you can't do that in the bigger chain parks, but with the smaller parks like this, that's why it's good to have small parks like this. It adds to the variety of parks that are available in the United States. You have plenty of small other parks, in other states and whatever. But what I'm saying though is, you want to have as many of these little small parks as you can. They create a totally unique experience compared to parks such as Cedar Point, Kings Island, Magic Mountain, Six Flags Over Texas. Like the big chains. These little small parks actually provide a totally separate experience, and it's just, Knoebels gives off that vibe. Knoebels has completely its own vibe, and it's an amazing park. It's just little parks like this. They do mean a lot to a lot of the people that went there. Like I said, this park isn't it isn't like a little baby park. I mean, it literally was almost 60 years in business. Like, that's pretty darn good. I mean, like I said, I think it's about 58 years they were in business. And man, it's just kind of sad. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my little rambling here. I just wanted to talk and kind of just share my thoughts on the park and just talk about it, because I do want to spread awareness too. I see a lot of people that were upset about Indiana Beach, and I understand that. Indiana Beach is a totally unique park, and this park's not as unique as Indiana Beach, but it deserves to be talked about just the same. And like I said, even if this park does close, I really hope that Silver Comet can get put somewhere else, somewhere where it's appreciated and taken care of, because it definitely deserves it. I just wish that this whole situation would be taken care of a little bit better. It doesn't seem like Apex Parks cares too awful much about the fate of these parks. So it's just one of those things. I don't know what the future holds, but I'll definitely make another video if things start looking brighter for this park, because as of right now, it doesn't look very good. Like I said, Indiana Beach, I think's got a better chance, but I think Fantasy Island might have lived its last day, but we'll just have to wait and see. And you never know; they might find someone else. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to make this, spread a little bit of awareness, and share my experience, and just talk about Fantasy Island a little bit. If you have any questions about the park, just leave a comment down below, and I'll try to get back with you as soon as I can. Like I said, I'm not the most experienced person with this park, but I can answer what I know and what I can. So, but anyways, guys, that is going to do it. And as always, you can follow me on my Instagram at Daily Theme Park Photos. You can also follow me on Twitter at Corey Mathery, same as my YouTube channel name. And you can also follow me on TikTok at Corey Says Yo, if you're so inclined. But anyways, guys, thank you for listening to me, and hope you enjoyed the little footage here of Fantasy Island. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and take care.